We're in Malden, Massachusetts. We're working on a home that is literally 4 feet between the boundary line. And what we're doing on this job is we're stripping the siding off. We're going to blow in some insulation, and then we're going to install new vinyl siding. Okay, so and you can see the tight quarters we're working in here. The guys are setting up the equipment right now, but what we're going to show you today is how to set up containment coming down from the roof line. This situation, we're not going to go into the roof, only because we installed this roof a year ago. We don't want to nail into it. So we're going to go from underneath in the rafters. We're going to give you a demonstration on how to set up and build a containment so we do not have to interfere with this neighbor next door. Here we are, we're on the front side of the home right now, and what we're dealing with in this home is we don't have 20 feet to set up a perimeter boundary without blocking off the street, so we can't do that. We have 4 feet we're dealing with here, okay, so we're going to have a hard time containing this area. So what we're going to do is we're going to shroud this section of the home, and there's some techniques I want to show you about how do you manage this. Okay, the back side I showed you, which we're going to show you when the guys start to install the plastic sheathing, is pretty easy to manage. But right here we have just an overhang. Okay, what we did is we took some strap and we cut it, we nailed it in. Okay, and now we're stapling plastic to the top of it, and we're residing this home. So what we're nailing into, we're not worried about any of that kind of stuff. All right, so if you're doing a job where you're not residing, you'll have to consider repairing any damage that has occurred, and you should figure that into your estimating. But this is the point we want you to see, is we're going to build this plastic over, and because we can't set up a 20-foot perimeter, we're going to shroud off the front side too. The guys that just started doing this want to kind of give you a visual of what it looks like. You can see how far they bring the strapping out. We're using 6mm plastic. You know we like that because it's easy to handle, doesn't it? It's just stronger and it's much more durable in the wind. Today's a beautiful day though, no wind. So that's just to give you a view on this. Well, you can see the neighborhood we're working in. You kind of get a little backdrop of what I'm looking at. These houses are all close together. So, you know, the things we're going to show you today, you're going to have to learn how to do. And hopefully after today, with our demonstration, you'll be confident in how to do it. But there's one thing I want to talk to. This production is made for people in the whole country to see how we do different containments and things like that. I'm based in Massachusetts, and Massachusetts has taken over the RRP, and they've changed some of the regulations, which I think they've changed it in a good manner. One change has been we don't have to use plastic on the exterior. We can use traditional drop cloths. You know, so because they've been through this state's done a lot of de-leading. They know that when you use the plastic, plants die left and right, and you have a lot of issues complaining customers. But this particular home, I mean, we have a pavement driveway we're going to be working on. They have bark mulch in the back with a patio. The side is paved, and we're not doing any demolition work in the front of the home. So we're going to go with plastic in this situation, only because it'll be easy to clean up and dispose of. When it comes to the exterior drop cloths that you're allowed to use in Massachusetts, you have to clean them after you're working, and they can never go to the interior of a home. And over a period of time, you'll have to use your judgment. You'll have to throw them out. But I think that's excellent news for Massachusetts contractors. Hopefully EPA will get a hold of this and help everybody else out with this situation. The next thing in Massachusetts is the unfortunate thing of the law changes. On all your job sites, you have to have a certified renovator on site. You can no longer be available by phone, be there for the setup and the cleanup. You have to be on site. We're inside the containment now. We're still not set up, but I want to show you some important details before the guys get started. Because as they pump up the stage, and we'll actually get on the stage and from the top, I will show you how they fasten the plastic together. But what we've done is we've draped the plastic from above, okay? And how we've done it is we worked underneath the soffit system, and we have shots. You can't see it from here with the staging in the way right now, but basically what the guys did is they cut large sheets of plastic, figured the distance they needed to get to the ground, they wrapped it in strapping, they nailed the strapping up into the rafter system, soffit system, and then they stapled the plastic. Drop the plastic down. The plastic comes down, they cut sheets to put on the ground to secure, and they taped along the wall, secured it to the foundation all the way along the ground. Then what they've done is they've taken strapping and they've rolled it in the plastic to join the two together, because you can't tape plastic together out in the field, meaning piece to piece. If there's wind, the pieces aren't cut cleanly, it's hard, it's very difficult to tape together. So we've found the quickest way to do this is you bring the plastic to the plastic, you have to overcut it, you roll strapping, staple it, grab the other piece, roll it again, and staple it. And that's how you join the pieces of plastic together. It's airtight, no air is going to get through this. Okay, and we've done the same thing over here. See, the guys will work their way up, but we've rolled the strapping together, and you've seen pictures of the guys doing this, and then we staple it. Here you have an airtight seal. There's no need to tape as you're working your way up. Because of the way this property is located, we have sealed off this side. This would be a little bit tighter before we start. Just a few more important things I want to run by you. You folks know already we're 4 feet within the property line. I had talked to the state of Massachusetts and told them the situation. I says, do I have to go out 10 feet from the boundary line or from the home 10 feet out? I'm dealing with a rock wall, a big drop. It's very choppy on the other side, staircases. And they said no. I said, I want to build a containment system, but my question is, do I still have to go 10 feet out with the plastic, then build a containment? In the state of Massachusetts, you don't have to. Their goal is containment. If you can contain your debris, you're doing okay. I also said to them, I know the EPA regulation calls for setting up your staging and your ladders on the plastic. And I said, I'm setting up pump stage and we're going up almost 3 stories, and I don't want the staging sitting on plastic. And they said, no. You don't have to do that in our state, and I don't think this would be an issue anywhere, but you know, check with your local state and even the EPA regulations. But what we've done, folks, I want you to look down here. So what we've done is we'll put the staging directly on the concrete ground here, and then we ran our plastic up and around it and sealed it tight, so there's no way debris is going to get down through there. And I think safety outweighs some of the regulation calls here in our state of Massachusetts. This is acceptable. And I talked to the state, and they said, you know, we know it's very difficult to comply in all situations. We're looking for containment and effort. And after running through the specs of this job, they said everything you're doing is in line with what we want. So just to give you some ideas, different things to think about, and especially talking to Massachusetts contractors. So we're coming out of this area, we've contained all this area. We're going to put up a set of stairs here. Debris is going to fall from the containment this way. And what we've done is we've gone 10 feet back. We also have a height issue here. Even though the containment will keep anything from going this way, potentially debris may go this way. Today it's not a windy day. We're stripping shingles that are actually in very good shape. So I don't anticipate anything going that way, but keeping in check with the regulations, we've gone 10 feet out off from this property out this way. And you can see how we've set it up. Tape it to the foundation. It's a pretty easy setup actually. We've got some nice solid concrete steps to deal with here. We've laid the plastic over. This is really not a work area. This is just to catch debris. When the guys are done, they'll clean this up and rip this out of here. We draped the plastic over the fence. We tied in that containment over there, and we have our 10-foot area down here. In a little bit while, we're going to show you the exterior containments we've set up to warn people of coming into this area. You saw the back side of the house. We're more than 20 feet away, but this is the only access to the back side of the home. So when you're setting up your exterior perimeter and you're shooting for that 20-foot goal, as long as no one can get into the work area, it can be 30 feet away. As long as people can't get to that work area, this is the only access. And you want to look for the easiest place to set it up. Here we've tied it up to a drain pipe, hooked it up to the side of the garage. Nice big caution tape, about chest high. We have our sign, caution, lead paint, do not enter, and we have a cone in front. Plenty of warning to let people know, do not enter into this area. Okay, we're going to work around to the front and show you what we've done in an area where we don't have 20 feet and why we built a containment. And you can see the guys are actually demoing now. We have full containment. There's absolutely no dust coming out of there. So this is the best angle we can get. That's how tight this neighborhood is. We can't get a clean shot at this thing to show you what it looks like completely. This is the best angle we could find. But it gives you a good illustration of how the plastic comes up over the staging, comes all the way down. You can see the strapping stapled together, joining that plastic together, and that's what it looks like. There's so much to talk about on this property because we're just so close, such a tight neighborhood. But on this side of the home, we have more than the 10 feet we need to set up a, the proper setup and containment area. And what we've done is we've communicated with this neighbor and says, this is what we're doing, within the 10 feet boundary setup, but we have to put boundaries out 20 feet. We communicated with the neighbor. He said, no problem, sounds good to me. And as the day progressed, he says, well, when are you going to do this work? And I said, we'll do this side on Monday. Today's Friday. He says, you know what? My grandchildren are coming here for 2 weeks from California on Sunday, and I have a very high concern about the lead paint. So by communicating with this neighbor in advance, and me telling him how we conduct this job, he feels very much at ease. We feel at ease knowing there's children next door that have a high concern about lead-based paint. The point I want to make, you have to communicate like you've never thought about communicating before. It's just the way the world's going to have to be, and you have to do your due diligence to make sure everything is covered. All right, the guys finished the demolition. 3 guys are up there backing down the windows, putting the house wrap up, tightening up all the loose ends on the wall. Willie's starting right down here to start bagging the material. What we had done is we cut big sheets of plastic and laid it underneath. We're going to pull them up, grind up all the materials so you don't have to handle as much. Willie's just knocking down the heavy stuff right now, bagging a little bit of it so we can lighten that load. We'll roll it all up and tape it up and move it off site. If you come in a little close, you can see what it looks like. A lot of speck of debris got out of our containment, and what Willie has done is he's broken down this small section right here that we showed you in the very beginning. He's actually using that plastic to wrap his debris in, so we're not generating, new product. Use what we have, and you get the most out of all our product usage. Okay, the debris's been bagged up and hauled out of here. Basically, we just cut large sheets of plastic, put the debris in it, folded it over, taped it tight, and moved it out, and disposed of it in our dump truck. All right, now I can see John is in here now. He's spraying down the plastic. You can see there's a lot of dust down there, and this water will just encapsulate this to the plastic, and then the guys will cut away, and they'll wrap up the bottom, roll it all up, bag that up, and then they'll take down the enclosure. This is what it looks like when we're done. It looks like it's cleaner than when we started. And just to give you some labor rates, it took us 8 hours, or 4 men, 2 hours, to set up that whole apparatus you saw. Plastic hanging down. It took them about 10 hours to clean up. That included rolling up and bagging the debris, taking down the plastic, cleaning the grounds thoroughly, and so we're into this whole thing for 18 hours of labor. So whatever your labor rate is, and this house is a 2-story home, and it's approximately 40 feet long. All right, material usage, we probably spent about $250 in materials today, and but that's it. That's a wrap. You get to see something that hopefully you don't have to deal with too much, but if you're dealing in these types of situations, now you know how to handle it.